Okay, morning, everybody. Okay, we are on Mem Zayin, Mem Chesam and Aleph, 48a. We hope everybody's doing well. Yosef was on. I presume he's going to come back. Let's see if he's still around. One second.
I'm here, Rabbi.
Oh, you're here. Okay, people are in the waiting room. Let's see who.
I invited a few people, so let's hope they're coming.
Yosef, you invited them, they come. We're letting someone in. Let's see who else is in the waiting room. Trying to get him in. Trying to open the door. Having trouble getting him in. Why is it hard to get him in? Participants. Trying to click him in for some reason. It's not clicking. Or maybe it's not clicking him in. Okay, we are Mem Ches Amar Aleph. Amar Rav Yehuda Bereder Rav Shmuel Bar Shilas B'Shrei Rav. Rav Yehuda Bereder Rav Shilas says in the name of Rav. Maybe you have an idea how I can get the person in. I'm pressing the thing. Why isn't he going in? Trying to figure out why he's not coming in. Okay. Tisha Ochlu Dagon. If you have 9 people that ate Dagon, 9 people had bread, and the Echad Achal Yerek, one person had vegetables. So we have 9 had bread, 1 had vegetables. So can you join the one person who had the vegetables for the zimun of 10? That's the Gemara's question. So the Gemara says, yes, you can count that person who had vegetables, even though he didn't have bread, you can count them into the zimun of 10. That's the statement. Tisha Achel Dagon, Echad Yerek, Mustarfin, right? That was a statement. 9 had bread, 1 had vegetables. You could join them in. Amar Rav Zera. So Rav Zera says the following. Amar Rav Zera. Boi minim Rabbi Yehuda Shmona Mahu. What's the law by Shmona? What's the law by 8? Let me just try to figure out why we can't get this man in. Anybody have an idea what I need to press in order to get the guy in? If I'm pressing the button, it's not going in? Anybody have an idea?
No clue, Rabbi.
Hi, Mama. I'm trying to get someone in the waiting room. I'm pressing the thing. It's not letting him in. Yeah, participant. Says, 1 second. Press participants. And then what do I do after that? I see the waiting room, yes. No. Maybe there's this other. 1 second. There's this other screen, this new screen that came on. How do I get rid of? Maybe I got rid of that. Maybe now I can admit it. Maybe now it's better. Okay, maybe now it's better. We got it. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, who just came in? Was that Morris? Who just came in? Morning. Morris, did you just come in right now? We had trouble getting you in. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah. I got in.
Morris, you're in. Very good. Okay, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. We're trying to get you in for a while. Okay. Okay, now we got Morris, we got Yosef, we got Avram. Okay, so Morris, we're in the Gemara. 9 people had bread, and one person had vegetables. Could you count in that one person who had vegetables for a zimun of 10 to say the Shem Hashem? Nevarech Elokeinu Shachalom Mishalom. So that's the question of the Gemara. Tisha Achol Dagon. 9 had bread, and Echad Achol Yerek, and 1 had vegetables. So the Gemara says Mitzarfin. You could join them into the zimun, and you could say the name of Hashem. Amar Rav Zera, Boi Minei Rav Yehuda Shmona Mao. I asked Rav Yehuda, what about if you have 8 people? 8 people had bread, and 2 people had vegetables. Could you count the 2 in to say the Shem Hashem, Nevarech Elokeinu? So the Gemara says, he asked the question. I asked Rabbi Yehuda, what about 8? Shiva Mahu, what about 7? Amali Loshna. So he told me there's no difference. If you have 7 people that had bread, 8 people that had bread, 9 people that had bread, the law will be you can count in all 3 people to the zimun. If you have 7 that had bread and 3 that ate some other vegetable, it doesn't only mean vegetable, it could be a drink. We'll see about all drinks should work. Mechaber says that water doesn't work. Can't count in the guy if he drank water. If you drink anything else, if you had orange juice or apple juice or anything like that, you can count them into the zimun of 10 as long as there's 7 people that washed. And then he says, Rav Zera says, but Shisha, 6 people, I did not ask, what about 6? And the Bach puts in that the Girsa about 6, Rashi has the text, Voy, woe is to me that I did not ask about 6. I did not ask if you have 6 people that have bread and 4 people had vegetables, which you have a majority, 6-4. Would 6-4 be good? Would 6-4 would not be good? I did not ask about that. I did not ask about 6. I only asked about 7. And what does he say? I feel very bad that I did not ask about 6. Does everyone hear the point that he says? I asked about 7, 8, 9. I wanted to know if you have 7 people that had bread and 3 that had something else, is that good enough? And I was told yes. But I did not ask the question, what about 6? 6 had bread. Does everyone hear the question or not? Avram, do you hear the question? Morris, you hear the question? I only asked about 7. And the rabbi is very upset, feels bad. Sometimes in life, when you have an opportunity to ask the question to a great person, and you don't take care of take that opportunity. You lost that great opportunity because I don't know what the rabbi would have told me. Whether the rabbi would have told me 6 and 4 is good enough, 6 have bread, or the rabbi would have said 6 is not good enough. I feel bad I didn't ask the rabbi. If I would ask the rabbi, I would know. Now I don't know. I'm not sure what the law would be. Mars, you hear the case? That's what the rabbi is saying. He has regret that he didn't ask the question.
But it sounds like majority is the answer, correct? Majority?
So that's the question. So we're going to see la halacha. We're going to say that majority is not going to be enough. You need a decisive majority. You need 7. But he was asking, but he felt he wasn't sure. He wasn't sure if majority would be enough and 6-4 would be good enough, or majority would not be enough and he would need to have a decisive majority of 7-3. He's not sure. And the other rabbi says, no, there's a different rabbi who is not Rabbi Yehuda, who says, Amalei Rabbi Yirmiyah Shapa of this Deloy Bailach. You did good that you didn't ask the question. Why? Hasam Taima Mai Mishum Dikaruba, Hachanam Ikaruba. What was the reason? The reason was you need why is 7 work? Why does 8 work? Why does 9 work? Because you have a majority. You have a majority that have bread. So too, he says, if you have 6, this rabbi is of the opinion, if you have 6 that have bread and 4 that have vegetables, that's good enough. However, the Iu Sava, Ruba de Mintka Beinon. You need a majority that's recognizable, a majority that's a decisive majority. And 6-4 would not, meaning,
Rabbi,
yes.
it sounds like when you do the repetition for Amidah, you have to wait at least for 6 people to finish
Right.
and to be ready for the Amidah, for the repetition. That means the majority.
Right. And for some reason, we have the rabbi has a question that maybe we need something more than that over here. Maybe you need to have a decisive majority. So the commentators are bothered by the question. Why? What would be the reason? What would be the reason for this? Why should we need a more decisive majority? I mean, you're asking a question. We know that by many things, let's say by a minyan, if you have 6 people that didn't pray, and you have 4 people that prayed already, you could go ahead and say you could say Chazarat Hashatz, right? You count it like a minyan. You could
Maybe also because after 3 they're allowed to do zimun anyway. The only difference is to add the extra word. So the extra word is when you have a minyan. So I guess when you have already 6 and you have the other ones complete the minyan to 10, then you can do it anyway.
Yeah, but again, but here we're talking about zimun. We're being stricter for zimun, where you have already 3, you have already 6 people that already had bread, and we say it's not enough. If you want to say the Shem Hashem, you need 7 people, and yet when it comes to davening with a minyan, let's say Kriyas HaTorah, to read the Sefer Torah, you have to have 6 people that didn't hear Kriyas HaTorah, then you can take out a Sefer Torah. You want to do a Chazara, you have to have 6 people that didn't pray, plus 4. You don't need 7 and 3. You don't need 7. You don't need a minimum of 7. You don't need a decisive majority. Here, we're requiring this decisive majority, and maybe the reason, I'm just thinking out loud, maybe the reason is because by a minyan, the idea of a minyan, once you have a minyan, something that requires a minyan, so we say Ruba Kakul, of 6 people didn't hear Kriyas HaTorah, 6 people didn't pray, then you could go ahead and do the Kaddish, the Kedusha, and everything. Here, we're changing from, we want to change something. We want to change the status. We want to go from a zimun that's without the name of Hashem. We're trying to go from something which is without saying the name of Hashem, and now we want to go ahead and take this zimun and change it and give it a different a different status. To make this different status, over there by the minion of 10, you never had anything. So therefore, when you when you have 6, then that's good enough. 6 plus 4. But here you want to say that this Zimun is different. You want to say that there was a change here, that we're gonna make this change, that I could add the name of Hashem. So you need to, the whole thing here is adding the name of Hashem, so you need something more recognizable. But again, what would be the logic? I don't hear enough the reason why anybody could suggest the reason why we're more strict by a zimun of Hashem when you're saying the name of Hashem over here, and you say that in order to say the name of Hashem, I need to have 7. I need to have 7 that had bread. And when it comes to, I need a decisive majority. What? Why are we so particular about a decisive majority? Why isn't it enough to have a majority, right? Why isn't 6 good enough? See, if you look in the Shulchan Aruch, so the way our Gemara ends, that he's not sure. He's not sure if you need a decisive majority or not. And the Shulchan Aruch actually says you need a decisive majority. The Shulchan Aruch in Simin Kufsat Sadik Zayin, Sif Beis, Kufsat Sadik Zayin, Sif Beis, he says, 9 people had bread and 1 had a kazayas of vegetables, an olive size of vegetables. They can mitzaref to mention the name of Hashem. Also, even if you only drank a cup that has a revius of liquid, any liquid besides water, you could count him in for a zimun of 10. And then he says, even if 7 had bread, 3 had vegetables, but 6, no, 6 doesn't do the trick. We need a majority. We need a majority that's recognizable. That's what we need over here. This type of bracha, where we're joining in together and we're going to say the name of Hashem, we need a majority that's recognizable. Anybody have a svara? Anybody have some reason why are we so particular about zimun, that you need 7 and 6 won't do the trick? Anybody have a good svara? Okay. Okay, this is something that needs some of the, let's see if any of the Mefarshim and the commentators, where else do we find such a concept of, you see, what I was thinking is that you're raising the zimun to a different level, so it has to be something, if you're raising this zimun, so it has to be recognizable in a certain sense. Because you're making this change in the zimun, because the zimun did not have, before it didn't have the name of Hashem. And now the same zimun, you're giving the name of Hashem. So you're clearly showing a difference. You're making a difference out of this zimun and that zimun. This zimun that has 3 people, you're saying you cannot say the Shem Hashem. But when these people eat together, they get a zimun, but they don't get the Shem Hashem. And now you're saying things change. Things change when you have a different situation. So maybe in such a situation, they wanted it, in order for you to change it, that you're saying that we're going to upgrade it, it has to be very recognizable. This majority. Maybe it's along those lines. Anybody have any other thing they could suggest?
What's the question, Rabbi?
My question is why this new phenomenon that you need a majority that's decisive? Why should this be different than any other time? That, like Yosef pointed out before, we don't say you need a majority that's decisive.
Maybe he'll take advantage, Rabbi.
And
Maybe it'll come too easy.
I'm saying, so we're happy that they should make a zimun of 10 if they have. So let them all do 6 and 4. I mean, okay, halacha we say we can't do it. I say the question is, in what way will they take advantage? I mean, unless you'll say they'll take advantage, maybe they will be afraid that some people won't eat. See, how the question? How we have to see where would they take advantage?
Let's go in a different direction. Why cannot they?
Say that again.
Why, instead of the say, they're looking for the reason that you're asking, is like, let's ask why they cannot make the zimun. You understand? I'm saying why 6 cannot make the zimun? Why 7 yes and why 6 not?
Right. So because for some reason you need to have, when you're saying the name of Hashem, if you want to say the name of Hashem, we have to be able to see here, to see clearly. We need to be able to see a decisive majority. We're able to see. We're saying the name of Hashem. We need to see 7 people that had bread.
So who wrote this halacha?
Okay, so the Gemara itself had 2 opinions. One opinion said 6 would be enough. You don't need 7. And the other opinion said, I'm not sure. Maybe you need 7. And the halacha follows, you need 7. So now we're trying to understand why is it I have 10 people here, and for some reason, and now I want to go ahead and say the name of Hashem. I want to say Nevarach Elokeinu. I need to have a minimum of 7 people who ate bread. I have to have a majority that's very, very easily recognizable, easy seen that ate bread. I have to be able to see, I have to look at the crowd, and I have to be able to see in a very clear way that this majority ate, that the majority ate bread. You see, it could be that maybe by a minion, but the other cases that we said, you're never looking at the people, you don't see, you're not able to really see what whether the guy prayed before, whether the guy didn't pray before, you're not able to see. You look at a minion, so then it's all about finding out. Nobody knows what happened over here. Nobody, maybe by a minion, you look at a minion, and when you look at a minion, you say, okay, I got 10 people in the room. There's no, to the onlooker, when he sees the minion, he sees 10 people. Everything looks to him the same. He has no idea what the guy's history is. He has no idea whether the guy heard Kriyas Torah before. He has no idea how many people prayed before. You have 10 people in a room. But you have 10 people in a room, and it's not something that I know the person's history. Then it's all about how many people pray, how many people didn't pray yet. So we could go ahead and say 6 people didn't, 6 people, 6 people didn't pray. We could go ahead and make a minion. A person will, but when the thing is something that's something that we see, because we see people eating a meal. We want to make sure that when we go ahead and say the zimun, we want to make sure that people recognize that there's definitely, the fact that you have a majority, when you have 6 people might not recognize that there's a majority. It might not be so clear to the people. It's not so, people don't, might not see so clearly that you have how many ate bread, how many didn't eat bread. If you're sitting at a meal together and 7 people ate bread, then everyone's able to see it was clear there was a majority. When you have 6 people eating bread, maybe it's not so readily understood by the people that are viewing it, and therefore maybe there is some sort of, people will make a mistake and might not realize you need a majority. Maybe that's part of the issue. We're just trying to understand why is it that you need a majority that's recognizable when it comes to a zimun. Yes, what do you want to say, Yosef? Yosef, you want
No,
to
it
say
wasn't me.
something?
I think it's Soli is like unmute, so he's like have some noises.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
But can we say the same thing by
I can't hear you, Avram.
other mitzvot that require that case where we need a decisive majority that you can?
Again, is there any other case the question is there any other case that we need a decisive majority? Here we need a decisive majority that's easily recognizable to everybody. And it's not good enough just to have a majority. And that's what we're trying to figure out. Why are we so particular about, why are we more particular here than other places that we need this this is decisive majority? That's what we're trying to figure.
Maybe it goes back to what you said earlier, because Hashem's name is invoked in the Zimun, so that's very important or very holy type of thing. So we have to be sure. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think. I don't know.
Maybe against of every day of the week.
Good. Okay, we have to try to think a little bit more about why over here we need this recognizable majority. Okay, so again, but in Shulchan Aruch, it's clear that we go like this opinion, and therefore when you have when you have Sheva Berachos. And let's say you're making Sheva Berachos and someone's making Sheva Berachos in someone's house, and you have, sometimes people have, so number one, people have to be careful that at least 7 people have to wash on bread. You want to make Sheva Berachot, you need to have at least 7 people that wash on bread, and 3 people could eat or drink anything besides water, according to the Shulchan Aruch. According to the Mechaber, the 3 people, as long as they ate or drank, again, they have to eat a kazayit. If they're having a salad, they have to eat a kazayit of a salad. If they're having a liquid, they have to drink a reviyit, 3 ounces of liquid, or an ounce of a salad, not just take a little bite of something. And the Mishnah Berurah, the Chofetz Chaim, says that there are some opinions in the Ashkenaz world that even water would work. Even water would work. The reason why water doesn't work, according to the Mechaber, is water doesn't sustain you, doesn't nourish you. And it's not considered an important enough beverage to join you in, even if you're thirsty and you want to drink. That's the opinion of the Mechaber. The Magen Avram holds that you could join water, because all liquids, all drinking is included in eating. What the Chofetz Chaim brings, there are some opinions that don't accept water. So I would say you should not accept water, because why should you just rely on water when their opinion is say water doesn't work? For sure, the Sfardim, water doesn't work. And for the Ashkenazim, why get yourself involved in a dispute of whether water could be counted in order for the 3 people that did not have bread, if water could be counted. So don't give water, give some other beverage. They should drink 3 ounces of it, and then you would be good. That should be that's the halacha l'maisa, the practical. It's interesting that the Chofetz Chaim brings down that, the Mechaber, the Shulchan Aruch, Yosef Cairo, he says you need a kazayis of a vegetable. The Vilna Gaon opinion implies that you don't even need a kazayis. To join the minyan of 10 will be lenient, you won't need a kazayis. Maybe when you, for a zeman of 3, which we always said, it's harder to create a zeman of 3 than a zeman of 10. So a zeman of 3, you need the 3rd guy. Now, even though we see, when it comes to a zeman of 3, so the Mechaber brings the first opinion that this idea that you can have people eating or drinking other foods besides water, that's only to create the name of Hashem, the zeman of 10, 3 besides the 7. But to be, for a zeman of 3 people, the first opinion needs 3 people to have bread. That's the first opinion. The second opinion is 2 people that have bread and 1 person that had some other grain of the 5 grains would be good enough. The third opinion, he says, even vegetable or other type of foods, it would be good. You could join him into the zeman of 3. The 3rd guy did not, even if the 3rd guy did not have bread, he did not have mezonot, you could go ahead and join him in. He had a vegetable, or technically, or Chofetz Chaim says even any liquid besides water. Since you have 2 people that had bread, and the 3rd guy ate a kazayid, then he's obligated to say bracha achrona. So therefore, there's 3 opinions. What's required in order to have a zeman of 3? One opinion of 3 have to have bread. The second opinion is that 2 have bread, and 1 have some other some mezonot. And the third opinion is that the 3rd guy can have any vegetable or any drink. So the Mechaber, Rabbi Yosef Cairo, says, therefore, being there's 3 opinions, if 2 people ate and a 3rd guy comes, if you can get him to have bread, that's the ideal, that all 3 people should have bread. If he doesn't want to eat bread, don't give him liquid or other food. So he says, he wants to say, if the third guy, he wants to say, the third guy comes, you can get him to have bread, give him bread. If he doesn't want to have bread, don't give him anything. He wants to avoid the question, because if you're going to give him something, there's a question whether you can join into Zimur. But if you went and you gave him something to drink or some other food, he could count them into a Zimur. That's the way the Mechaber of the Shulchan Aruch says. But the Chafetz Chaim says that today, our custom is, but Ashkenaz, if he doesn't want to eat bread, to give him lechatchila, to drink or eat anything like the last opinion, which says that you could join him into a zimun, even on vegetables, even by a zimun of 3, you can have the third guy, 2 had bread and the third guy had some vegetable or something, that would be good enough. Is that clear, everybody, what we're saying over here?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 3 of
Yeah, Rabbi.
for a zimun of 3 people, we have 3 opinions. Ideal way to go is everyone has bread. If everyone doesn't have bread, if 2 have bread, then the next says you give him mizonot. It says if he had mizonot, it's good enough. Third opinion is even vegetables or other drinks. And the Mechaber, which seems to be, we'll have to see the Yalkut Yosef maybe tomorrow. The Mechaber says that for the Sfardim, if you have 2 people that ate bread, the third guy comes. It's not, you don't offer him bread. If he doesn't want bread, don't offer him anything. But if he went ahead and he's hungry and he ate, then you can count him into the Zimur. We say offer him, if he doesn't want bread, you could offer him to join into the Zimur. Okay, I want to wish
Why
everyone
not?
a good day. We're sorry we had a little technical difficulty. That took a little time to get started.
So do it gently with it like that.
Have a
That's
great
why
day,
you're ripping
everybody.
the book.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you.
Thank you very much.